If you're new to self-publishing or just getting started, don't go anywhere. In this video, I'm going to go through 10 of the most frequently asked questions around self-publishing on Amazon KDP. So let's start right at the beginning. You're interested in creating a book and publishing it. How do you start? All you need to do is go over to kdp.amazon.com and you'll be presented with this sign up page. On here, if you scroll down, it will tell you a little bit around Amazon KDP and how it works. But basically, Amazon KDP allows you to self-publish your book. So if you're actually writing a book and want to get it published, no longer do you need to go to traditional publishers and query and wait for responses and try and get a publishing house to take you on. Now you can actually self-publish your book. Now when you come onto kdp.amazon.com, all you need to do is click Join KDP. You'll have to enter your information there, but once you are signed up, you just log in and then you'll be taken to your bookshelf. This is where you can click Create to create a new title, or you can view your existing titles as well. The next question is looking at what do you actually need to be able to self-publish your book. Well, at the very basic level, you need a manuscript and you need a cover. The cover depends on whether you're creating an ebook or a paperback or a hardback. So that'll either be a flat thumbnail image for an ebook, or it'll be a wraparound cover for a paperback or a hardback. The manuscript itself needs to be formatted correctly. If you're writing a book, that might just be something that you've written in Word. But then if you're creating a colouring book or activity book, you'll need to put all those pages together inside a manuscript. So if we take a quick look at my dinosaur joke book as an example, this is the content that you're going to need to have. So this is a paperback, but as you can see here, you have to select the trim size of your book, and then your manuscript needs to be created to that trim size. So if you wanted to create a 5 by 8 inch book like I've done here, when you create your Word document or however you're making your manuscript, you just need to make sure they're set to the right sizes. So if I made this in Word, it would be set to 5 by 8 inches. And then all you need to do is upload your manuscript here. You can see on Amazon KDP, it tells you the types of formats, but the most frequently used is PDF, but you can also use a doc, docx, HTML or RTF. Then with your book cover, you can use Amazon's cover creator. It's kind of like a drag and drop style just for very, very basic covers, but I would recommend creating a cover yourself and uploading it. So that all sounds great, but what actually can you publish on Amazon KDP? Well, if I click the create button here, you can have a look. So on Amazon KDP at the moment, you can create a Kindle ebook, you can create a paperback, you can create a hardcover, and then once you've created those books, you can put them into a series as well. If you go over to Audible, you can also create an audiobook. So those are all the different types of books that you can create on Amazon KDP. So when you're ready to publish a book and you click that create button, this is the first page that you'll be greeted with. So in here, you choose things like your language, your book title, you write your author name here, your description, you select whether you own the copyrights, which is very important. Make sure that you're not publishing anything that infringes on copyright, because that's a very easy way to get your account banned. So, no using Disney characters, no referencing famous people, all those kind of things. You need to tick this button here if it's an erotica. But if it's just a book for adults, you don't need to click yes. And then you've got a reading age, and this is just for children's books. So leave that empty unless you're publishing a book for children between, say, 2 and 4. You have your primary marketplace. And what this allows you to do is select where you think you're going to sell the most copies. So generally, I always leave that at .com because it's the biggest marketplace, unless, say, I was making a London themed book, and then I'll go .co.uk. The only thing that seems to change with this is the categories update. So if we go on .com and choose our categories, you can see all the different types of categories. But if, for example, I go on sports and outdoors, you've got things like football, American football, racket sports, etc. But if I changed the marketplace to UK and I go back to sports, you can see here that it's got football as in British football. It's got things like cricket, rugby, which weren't selectable when you was on the US marketplace. So make sure you're selecting the right marketplace. I'd always say the default is .com. And then we come on to categories. So how do categories work on Amazon? Well, currently you're allowed to select up to 3 categories. And so if we come onto my dinosaur joke book again, if you scroll down, you can see the categories it's ranking for down here in the product details. So this book is listed in children's joke and riddle books, and also in cat, dog, and animal humour. And so why you want to list it in categories is it allows people the chance to find your book. If you get a lot of sales, you can also get that #1 new release or #1 bestseller tag, which can appear on your book. So generally you need to be honest with your categories, make sure it's something that fits well. For this dinosaur joke book, we might go to something like humour and entertainment, and then find something in here that suits. So we could do something like comedy, jokes and riddles, and puns and wordplay. So something like that would work quite well. Then you have your 7 keyword boxes. And so I've done a video on this. If you want to find out more about how Amazon keywords work and what you should be including, click the link up in the corner now. But generally how this works is you want to enter your keywords that you're trying to rank your book for. This is so when people go on Amazon.com and they're searching for, say, dinosaur joke book, that your book is appearing within the search results. You got your publication date here, which you can just leave alone unless you're republishing your book. And then you can either schedule your book's release or release it now. So that's the basics of kind of like what you need to know for publishing your book on Amazon KDP. But I might have skipped over one step a little bit, and that is formatting your manuscript correctly. So there are multiple programs that you can utilize for creating a manuscript. As mentioned, you could use something like Microsoft Word, especially if you're just doing a text-based book. Actually, you can use the Adobe family, which is what I use. I use InDesign for creating my manuscripts. I feel like that's the best one out there if you're willing to pay for it. But you can also use Canva for free. So if you come over to Canva, I'll show you how to set up your manuscript. So all you need to do is select Create a Design and then go on to Doc. Now, what you need to do is select the custom size. Then you go over to the inches. And for my 5 by 8 inch joke book, I would do 5 by 8 inches. I'll select Create New Design. And then this is the correct size for your book. Now, all we need to do is create some pages, fill them in, and you're good to go. One thing you'll get used to when you're creating books is to not go outside of certain margins. You can find out all of the margins and all of the guides and everything on kdp.amazon.com, but that's why I prefer using software like InDesign. So if we come on to InDesign, I'll show you how to set your own custom margins. So on InDesign, if we're creating a 5 by 8 inch book, you can select the amount of pages, and then here you can select the margins. So this is set up for the correct margins for KDP. So if I click Create, all of my pages here are going to have the correct margins. So what that means is that if I write anything outside of the margins, like that, this would actually be rejected by Amazon because you're trying to print outside of the margins. So setting the margins up correctly in InDesign is really, really helpful. Whereas in Canva, I don't think you can adjust the margins, but you could create guides based on the settings just to make sure you're not going outside of those lines. After you've uploaded your manuscript and your book cover, you come on through to the pricing. And so on here, you can select the pricing for your book. Now, how does this work and how much money do you actually make and how much does Amazon make? So here you can see that the printing cost for my dinosaur joke book is $2.30 in America. So if I set it at $6.99, I'm going to get 60% of the royalty above the $2.30. So that means out of the $6.99, I'm going to make $1.89. Amazon is going to make the $2.30 in the printing costs plus 40% of the royalty as well. So that's kind of Amazon's cut. It covers the printing costs and then they get 40% of the sale and we get 60% of the sale. And seeing as Amazon is print on demand, you know, those fees could be better, but I think it's absolutely fair. And then with your pricing, you just go down and set your prices for every different country. And then you come down to the proof section. Now, this is absolutely great if you're just getting started. What this allows you to do is request a proof version of your book before you publish it on Amazon. That means that you're going to get a copy of your book. It's going to have a bar across it saying proof copy, but it means you've got a chance to review it and make any changes to it before you put it live on Amazon. So when you're creating your first ever book, you want to be requesting a proof just to make sure it looks like what you're expecting. The proofs can take a few days to arrive, so make sure you factor that into consideration with the launch of your book. So now I've shown you kind of how Amazon works. I also want to let you know what is print on demand. So print on demand means that you don't need to print out the books yourself and ship them to customers. And that's one of the great benefits of self-publishing on Amazon KDP. You upload your book cover, you upload your manuscript, and then when anyone buys your book, Amazon then fulfills it. That means that they'll print it in their warehouse and they'll ship it directly to the customer. So that takes out all of that hard manual work for you. It means you can focus on creating your books and then advertising them to people. So for me, print on demand is absolutely fantastic. Yes, you're paying a royalty to Amazon and the printing costs, but it means that you don't have to do any of the additional work yourself. So I hope that that was all helpful, and I've just got a couple of extra things to touch upon. The next thing is looking at your author page. So Amazon allows you to have up to 3 pen names. These can be created at author.amazon.com. So you might want to use your own name, you might want to use a pseudonym, but whatever name you want to use, it's important to create an author page. And that's because when you're selling a book on Amazon, if people like it, they might want to check out what other books you have available. So if you create an author page, like I've done here for my dinosaur books, it allows people to follow you. So here I've got 47 followers for this pen name. And you can also set up a profile. So it allows you to upload a photo or a logo and also write your biography. This is what your author page will look like. So you've got your logo up in the top left-hand corner. You've got an about the author, and then you've got all of your books listed as well. So once you've created an author page and you start publishing books, you can also then share that link with everyone else. So that's a great way to share your books. And if one of your books starts selling, there's every chance that those people are going to check out your other books as well. And then the final question that I get asked a lot by new publishers is, will the book sell once I upload it to Amazon? And the short answer is no, it won't sell itself. So you're going to have to advertise that book. There are some rare cases where if you find a really, really good niche with not many books in, that yes, you might get some organic sales straight away. But generally, you're going to have to use advertising. You're going to have to reach out to your friends and family. You're going to have to push that book in order for it to get sales. How Amazon tends to work is when Amazon sees that the book's getting sales, is then the algorithm will kind of kick in and then it will be recommended against other books and it might start ranking for certain keywords. So when you're about to launch your book, make sure you've got a plan to advertise and market it. Okay, so I hope that this video is useful and it's covered a lot of those starter topics for you. If I've missed anything or you've got any other questions, drop a comment below and I'll do my best to get back to you. Okay, thanks for checking out the video. I'll see you in the next one.